sometimes Russ with easy bucket.
Final score is 114 to 106. Anthony Davis with 34 points, 15 rebounds. Talen Horton-Tucker in his first game shoots 50% from the field, gives you 17 points, and Russ with 14, 11, and 7. Let's hear from Frank Vogel. He's speaking with the media.
Frank, wanted to get your thoughts on Talen in his first game since October 8th, I think, the third preseason game on both ends of the court.
Yeah, he was great. Felt confident in starting him because I know he's been doing a lot of work. It was a hand injury, so he stayed really active. With his running and staying in game shape. You never know what to expect, but he looked really good. Puts a lot of pressure on the rim, which just helps everything for us offensively. And obviously we've been using Bays and Avery to carry a big share of the load, defending on the perimeter, taking the other team's best player, and Talen was able to he's able to play both sides of the ball. That's our vision for him this year is to take that matchup on a lot of nights, and it's great to have him back on both sides.
And Frank, AD had 9 buckets in the paint in that first half. It seemed like the Spurs adjusted quite a bit. How did you think that he played out of that in the second half?
Yeah, well, that's what we talked about. Playing first, just resetting our focus to get him the ball in the post. We're trying to be a movement offense this year, and sometimes it doesn't find him enough. And we established him early in the game, and we also worked offensively to be a multiple action offense. After the game the other night, we're just not getting to the next man well enough. And I thought all the guys that were out there, Wayne, Malik, Russ, Rondo, Melo even, we're finding him as a dynamic roller. You know what I mean? And we just didn't let things stall us out, the unders and the switches and whatnot. And we're able to get the ball to him on rolls and in the post. And then obviously the second half, when they brought extra help on his rolls and double in the post, found shooters on the backside, found Russ at the rim on that one play late, and really did a good job making plays.
Frank, obviously LeBron, Trevor, Austin, and Kendrick are still out, but where do you think the role can be for Talen moving forward? Could it be a starting lineup type of situation, more minutes? So where do we go from here with Talen?
We'll see. He's going to be a big part of what we do, though. We know that. We invested in him this summer for a reason. We got a strong belief in that young man and what he can, like I said, what he can do on both sides of the ball. And obviously when we get whole, we got a lot of good choices, but he's going to be a big part of it.
Frank, I know you were just talking about some of the scheme stuff you were doing on offense that got AD going, but how much do you think is affected by the spacing that your new starting lineup offers, and how much do you think is just AD having a mentality of going to the rim and kind of getting there?
I think it's equally both, honestly. We've been starting big lineups, and with every year every team's different. We believe in what, especially with Russ as the point guard and his downhill nature. Just having Anthony as the lone big out there just creates a little bit more space for him, but also for Anthony rolling to the basket. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big part of it. But Anthony wanted to impose his will on this game. He more than anyone is probably unhappy with how last game unfolded. And it was clear that he was intent to impose his will.
Hey Frank, over here. Kent had started every game heading into tonight and was a DNP. We had talked yesterday at practice about some of his shooting struggles, and then obviously Talen returned tonight and started. But what went into that decision to not play Kent?
Yeah, really Talen. We want to get Talen back in there. Bays is going to be a big part of what we do, but Malik and Wayne have been playing really well. Off the bench, and Bays is still going to be a big part of what we do. But Talen coming back to the lineup was the factor there.
Let's talk about Frank Vogel going to that starting lineup. Rob made a point about giving him the game ball. Sometimes when you're up against it, big game, James, and the team is trying to find their way with injuries and guys out of the lineup, sometimes you got to shake things up. Look at the starting lineup today and how they performed.
Yeah, it's a tough call because if it doesn't work, you got everybody saying, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? But the coach has the pulse of the team. So he's been watching guys, whether anyone doubts his changes or not, he knew what he had to do. and it worked great tonight. Tucker, I think, was key because it allowed him to explore and have the ball in his hands a little bit, took a little bit of pressure off Russ. And also, I think, AD in the paint, that forced him to be the big and got Ellington and Monk and all those perimeter threes and good shots.
And I want to make sure we say this. It's not just about the starting lineup. The starting lineup is usually together the first 6 minutes, then to close out the half, to start the third, and then the closing lineups are usually different. It's about the combinations as well. And that second, 15 boards, AD with a big monster game.
This is one of the things that drives James and I bonkers. When AD goes out and scores 18 points like this, and we be like, why doesn't he do this every game? But I know sometimes it takes a lot of stress in your body to do this all the time, but we want him to do this because, to me, this is what got him going. He got buckets in the paint. Next thing you know, he's feeling good. He's stepping outside, knocking down threes. And this is the AD that we talk about that can be an MVP. And these are the type of games that he can have each and every night if he just take them inside, then take them outside.
And I think the adjustment that San Antonio made in that second half to try to maybe take the ball out of AD's hands, he then made great decisions, Big Game James. And I think that's important for him as well.
Well, you almost play right into the Lakers' hand. You can't stop a man-to-man, so you go to a zone.
Or a double.
That even opens up the middle even more, and AD played it to the T. He went right in the middle. They had to collapse. He kicked it out for some great shots, and they had to go back to man-to-man. So I think the Lakers did a good job of adjusting. Like I said, Spurs came back down the stretch. 2-point game. Here we are thinking again, composure. Kept themselves, into the game, made some big 7-0 run. So, yeah, you like to see that they're able to adapt as the game goes along, the way the opponent are defending them or what they need to do to win a game.
Yeah, just under, 3 minutes left in that game, and the Spurs are on an 11-2 run, and you're sitting here thinking, here we go again. And THT comes up with that big layup. AD kicks it out to Melo for 3, and then AD with a nice pass to Russ, 7-0 run, game over. I like the way they're closing, but I do want to focus on, in this game, I do want to focus on THT, though. We made a lot about him returning. I mean, it was a blow to this team. We know not having him because of what he adds on both ends of the floor. Those young legs you need. Another creator, another guy that's not afraid to take a shot. He was big tonight, Rob, in his first game back. I was surprised at how good he looked, and I thought to myself, man, we really missed him.
He was huge. You look at a guy like this. I know they talked about it before his show. How would his conditioning be? His conditioning would look like it was great. It's not like he hasn't lost a step. And the thing we also forget that this guy is young. He's going to get better each and every year. In this first game, and the sitting out for so long, he doesn't even look like he'd been out.
I know.
He came out, he was aggressive. He just showed no signs of a bad thumb. He was getting to the hole. What I really liked down the stretch, do you see what Russ did? Russ said, go ahead, young fella, you got it. He came down, got a pick and roll, made some things happen. And that's what you got to have sometimes when you have Russ and LeBron in the game. You got to have somebody else because think about it. Teams they're gonna plan for Russ. They're gonna plan for LeBron. Sometimes they forget about guys like THT who are able to score.
You know who's not afraid to take the last shot in games or with shot clocks? We've seen Malik Monk do it. We know AD, Russ, and LeBron, of course. How valuable is it to get THT back? A guy that's not afraid to take and make shots, late game situations.
You know how unpredictable the Lakers could be with a three-headed monster ball handlers, LeBron, Wes, and Tucker. LeBron really believes in Tucker's making great decisions with the ball in his hands down the stretch. And you see what he can do in finishing. So it's vital to have that, what I call a three-headed monster ball handling trio. Tucker's amazing. He hits big shots. He can go to the hole. He can hit little mid-range. And let's not forget, a lot of deflections come his way on the other end, on the defensive end. He puts a lot of pressure on the offensive guys on that end.
They went to a lineup change. AD to the 5, which meant no DeAndre Jordan. Bays, who had struggled offensively, out. They put in THT into that spot. They put Melo at the 4. Were you surprised at that lineup change? And what did you think of it, especially THT just coming right in and getting the start?
Jinkies. Yeah. That's what I thought. I'm like, wow. And you look at this. We always talk about giving people game balls. You could give a game ball to Coach Vogel to looking at this line and say, you know what? I need some youth. I need some veteranism. You throw in these two guys.
spark?
Yeah, THT and Carmelo, and it worked. The guys came out, and I think it had a lot to do with AD also, saying, you know what, I'm going to go down this paint, I'm going to feast, and I'm going to eat. And he scored, like you said, 18 points in the paint in the first quarter. And that kind of gave them a spark. THT came out, hit his first three, his first shot after being mentioned. He comes out and hit a three. Carmelo, you know what, everybody's going to run me off the three. I'm going to pull up full of mid-range jumpers. And that's what you got to do. You have to be able to switch your game up because people are playing for you. You know, I guarantee you in the game plan, Pop saying, yo, Carmelo's hot from three, run him off the three. But you forget, that's how Carmelo made his living in the league, the little mid-range and things like that. You got to be able to adjust to this game. You can't just be one way all the time. And tonight, the Lakers, I said this afternoon, the Lakers showed us a variety of different packages they can use offensively.
Yeah, love the efficiency with 5 guys scoring 15 points or more. I love the three-point ball, 15 to 31, because the ball was moving. I thought they were good shots, James, at 48%. But you mentioned